Shimye, it seems you're drawing on the screen. Could you? All right. Thank you, everybody. Let's jump right into it. For this workshop about mastering public speaking, we're going to share the essentials about being an effective speaker. This is powered by Genius Africa. So Genius Africa, which we are grateful for, it works with the coaches and creators who are interested in sharing knowledge. So Genius Africa links us, the coaches, with audiences all over the world. So they sponsor this program so that people can have access to learning the skills about public speaking. So to kickstart it, here's one idea that changed my whole career and led me into public speaking and communication at large. I saw this idea when I was a student. I was a medical student in, I think in the level 1, that's like 5 years ago. Sorry, a little bit, I will have to change the view. So you can be able to see well. Okay, so this idea was about that you can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. It's the point that you might be a smart person, but if you can't communicate your smartness for other people to understand you, you won't even benefit from your smart ideas. This visualize that your ability to communicate very well is very, very important for your progress in life, be in a career, whatever you want to achieve. Your ability to communicate is very, very critical. This is what led me to learn about communication. I had a course from Michigan University about effective communication, which was focused on business communication. And from that, I really got so many opportunities from my training, where you learned, I got the opportunity to speak at the TED event because I learned about communication, and I was invited to talk about my book at TED event because I was good with the communication skills. Also, I got the opportunity to start getting gigs to speak in different events as a keynote speaker and coaching opportunities. And also, I later started working as a health communication consultant. I worked with organizations to create content for different people. This is something my fellow medical students were not able to do because, like, for this job of health communication, we required someone who has background in medicine but can communicate. So your ability to communicate will make a large difference in your career and it will make you stand out. So that's why in this session, I'm going to share with you just only 3 things, 3 competencies for great speakers. These are the things that I use every time for my work whenever I'm invited to speak anywhere. And if you can understand these 3 elements, when we are ready to go, you can really be a great speaker. So we look about the speaking situation analysis. A great speaker knows how to analyze a situation. When they invite you to speak in an event, or it's a presentation at work, or it's a business speech, or it's a class presentation, how do you analyze that situation so that you can prepare a better speech, a better presentation? So after that, we look at preparation. This is another competence. How do you prepare for a speech? Many people I coach, they don't know where to begin when they have to prepare for a speech. So you learn about preparations. Here I will introduce you to the Burger model. It's a model about preparing a speech. So it's going to be interesting. And lastly, we look how you do deliver. Because you have another situation of where you have to speak. Now you have to prepare for that speech, but also you have to deliver that speech. So we go through one by one. But before we start jumping right into it, why public speaking and what it is? So public speaking is more of a performance. It's not just like you have to speak in a public. No, it's a situation where you have to appear in public and share message, information, but with a goal. You have something you want to achieve. Maybe you want to, if you're a business person, you have to get the grant or the in capital, like city capital from investors. So whatever goal you might have, being a class presentation or you have a defense for your thesis, you always have a goal. Public speaking is always about appearing with a goal. So I like to define it as the art of rhetoric. Public speaking is the art of presenting and making your views convincing and attractive to your audience. So how do you present, how do you speak to people that your views and your ideas are convincing and interesting to people who are hearing you? So this is what exactly public speaking is all about. How all those ideas you have, a business idea, or your skills, how do you speak to people and they attract to your ideas, buy into it, and collaborate hopefully. So for your presentation as a speaker to be effective, you need to, one, it needs to be understandable. People should understand what you say. How do you make it memorable? And it should be emotional, appealing to people. So these three competencies you're going to learn will help you to make your presentation understandable, memorable, and emotional for people who hear you. So I think for now, you understand that public speaking is all about a goal you have as a speaker. And now we're going to see how you can achieve that goal through these three competencies. Let's start with competence number one, which is about speaking situation analysis. How do you analyze a speaking situation? So like last few years, I think this was in 2021, I was invited to speak to medical students, but my audience was only girls. And they invited me to speak about women in leadership. The goal was to encourage girls to get involved in the leadership of Medical Student Association. Actually, this was the first speaking engagement when I was paid. It was my first paid keynote speaking engagement. So, and now it was my first time to speak for money, share information for money. So that my audience was only girls, and I had to speak to them and convince them that they should get involved into the leadership of the organization. Then here was the catch. How do I achieve that? How do I convince girls that they can get involved in leadership of organization? Using my words. This was a situation I have. So like you too, you have had a situation you had to speak. And this was a situation. How do you handle that? There are 7 elements that you have to analyze before you get to speak. Before even you prepare for a speech. This will help you to approach your speaking effectively. So number one element that involved in it, public speak, is you as a speaker. So you as a speaker, it's not about your name or your age. It's about who are you to your audience. Like when I had to speak to these girls, I was a medical student like them, but I was a man, there were women, there were ladies. So now I had to see how do I make myself relatable, but also trustworthy. So here comes the point of credibility. How do you prove to people that you deserve to be listened to? So sometimes people trust you because they know you're a superstar, but sometimes you have to start from zero. I had to tell them about my experience in leadership, about my writing and my book. So all these things I told them to prove that I deserve to speak to them. So you need to know who you are for your audience. Will they trust you? If you already have the trust, you're ready to go. If you don't, you need to start from scratch and find ways to prove to them that, yeah, they should listen to you. You are relatable to them, like you are in their interest. Your credibility is very key. Number 2 is a message. What do you have to tell people? Sometimes you'll be speaking maybe to give it just information. That's an informative speech. Other times, you will speak to persuade people to do something or change their minds. Other times, you will speak to inspire people, to uplift them. Other times, you'll be speaking to entertain, and some special occasions. So you need to understand what message do I have? What purpose do I want to achieve? Then later on, as we'll see, by understanding your purpose and your goal, you'll be able to approach it, your speaking engagement with accuracy and insightfulness. So next, you have to also look at your audience. Who am I speaking to? What do they know? What do they feel now? What's their age? This helps you to know how much information you should give. Should you break down information to soft things? But if your audience are knowledgeable people and you start talking about average things, really basic things, you miss it. So you need to study your audience and analyze it and know, what they feel, so that what they need to hear now, you can craft a message relevant to your audience. Next, you see the channel. Are you meeting people face to face? Is it online like this? So you need to see this because it helps you to prepare. Yeah, like my speaking with these girls, it was to meet them physically. I'll have to face them. So I had to prepare presentation and all that. So after that, you have to look at the context. The context about the culture of people you're speaking with. For me, they were a student. I had to find ways to make examples in my stories relevant to students. Sometimes it will be at a company. So you need to think the culture and the context you're speaking in. Next, you have to look at some potential interferences, possible things that can distract your message. Sometimes it's psychological. People have other thoughts. Like, let's say you have to speak and it's close to lunch. There's an interference in their mind because people are hungry. We call it physiological. In a second. Sorry, there was a door that was shouting. Yep. So interference is something that can interfere with your message. Like this door that was like shouting around me, it was interfering with the sound, with my message. So as a speaker, you have to think interference you can encounter and deal with them. And then lastly, feedback. How will people respond? How will you respond to their feedback? If you're speaking when they sleep, that's feedback they give you. If it's online, when people send messages. So this is the first step, first competencies you have to develop as a speaker, to analyze the situation where you have to speak. Understand your message, your purpose, understand your audience, understand your credibility. If you don't have it, build it. So these are competence number one, to understand the analysis, to analyze the situation where you have to speak. Then after understanding the situation, now you prepare. Preparing for a speech might be tricky for many people. Like they don't know where to begin. So that's why I'm going to share with a model that I use and people I coach use, and many great speakers use, most like TED speakers, to prepare for a talk. Why is this important? Look at like this guy said, sometimes I will start a sentence and they don't even know where it is going. I just hope I find it along the way. Like you have met speakers of this kind who start talking, they go on and on and on and on and on, but at the end, you don't get what they wanted to tell you. So this is a very, very challenging thing you have to deal with. You have to organize your message in a way that people will be able to follow you, not just running nonstop. So let me show you a model you can use next time you are preparing for a talk, a presentation. We call it the burger model. So we have a burger here. And we make this burger using different ingredients. So for a talk, for a speech, I mixed this. Yeah. So for burger model, we want to approach a speech like this. As the burger has the interior part, the core, the major part of it, then the bread on top and the bread on below. Your speech also looks the same way. You have introduction, then you have the body, which is the core, and the conclusion. So this model can help you to prepare for a speech. But when you prepare for the burger, do you start with the bread? Is it the first thing you start with? No. To prepare for the burger, we start with the recipe. We have all ingredients you have to put together. You bring the bread, you bring everything, you bring vegetables if you need some for you to prepare. It's the same thing for our speech. When you prepare speech, you don't start with introduction. We start with the body, the main points. This is how it looks like. So like these chaotic ideas makes up all the points you want to say, stories that you know, people you have met, all the ideas of the song, things you want to show. But this is not what you want to bring to people, as you don't bring this burger recipe for when they ask you for a burger. You have to take all these things and synthesize and organize them to make something cool. So that's why public speaking, you start with having all those ideas and organize them in a logical way where people can get it. So let's see, what should you put in the body? So after you have like gathered the ideas and you're trying to organize them, your body should look more like this. This is the core of the burger, the speech. One is your main ideas. Usually we keep it to 3 to 5. You first start with what are the main points of my speech. If I want to talk about public speaking now, what are the main points I want to talk about? Like now I say, okay, I will talk about the situation analysis, then I talk about preparation and delivery. See, these are my main points. Then you go for support materials. So what are the contents do you want to put there? What are the evidence do you want to share? What are statistics do you have? Which images do you want to show on that particular main idea? Then every main idea should have something to support it, depending on the purpose you have. Because my purpose now is to help you be a better speaker, understand how you should prepare and deliver a good speech presentation. That's my purpose. My main ideas is analysis of the situation, then preparation and delivery. Then I put contents at every point depending on what. Then also you should remember to how will you move from one idea to another. We call them transitions. Yeah. After organizing your ideas, maybe from first, second, third, or some use like chronological that if you want to talk about what you did in the last 5 years, you can say the quarter number 1, in the second quarter, in the third quarter. You can organize your content in just that sequence, chronological sequence. Others approach them like I talk about the problem I want to talk about and the solution. There are many ways to organize ideas, but importantly, you should remember to transition. How do you move from one idea to another? So, can I confirm one more time that you guys are there, you're hearing? Because when I share the screen, it's easy to get lost at some point. All right, let's keep going. So about transitions, I was saying, like you started with the idea number 1. So my first point or my first reason, yeah. So other people use transition, but like preview said. So we have seen what it takes to analyze the situation. Let us next see how to prepare. You see, I previewed what we spoke about first, then we came to the next. So there are many techniques for transitioning, but for your body, when you prepare the ideas you have to present, how you move from one idea to another should be clear for people. So this is just things you have to consider for the body of your speech. Then after preparing these main ideas, supportive points, and transitions, you have now to prepare for introduction. So the reason I put this young boy here, so when you are buttoning your shirt, once you get the first button wrong, everything else gets screwed up because your shirt is disorganized. It's the same thing. Though you have great ideas, main points aligned and every point, the way you start makes much more important because it defines whether people will listen to you or not. We tend to say what you say in the first 9 seconds as a speaker determines whether people will listen or not. So, because like when you start speaking, some people on the phone and they're chatting. So, how do you get them from off the phone to start listening to you? So, you need what we call attention grabber. From now, one of the things you need to know, starting with a good morning is the worst way to start a speech or a talk. Good morning is, people's like, oh, okay, that's casual. So you need to find something, maybe a story. Like you start out, oh, when I was young, nobody was like, okay, what's going on here? Or according to the World Health Organization, you can give it a stuttering statistic. You can ask a question like, how many of you by show of a hand? So these are the things that you engage people in the first place so they can come back, so they can start listening to you. Then you establish what you want to talk about. You create why is it relevant to them. Like I started with a story about why having brilliant ideas is not enough. So that can be relevant to you, that if you want to grow your career, you need to be more more of a good communicator. So create the relevancy. Then you reveal the topic. Like I read what I'm going to talk about, the competencies I'm going to share with you, the 3 competencies. You see, I could show it like first one in an introduction. Then we establish a credibility as well. In introduction, you have to prove to people that what you're going to talk about, you know it. Sometimes they trust you because you may be a superstar. But when you are new to your audience, in introduction, you have to always remember to tell them, yeah, I did all this research to make sure that I bring you this, this, and that. Or like the way I told you about my training from Michigan University about effective communication, my coaching program, you see, it's a way to show that I have experience in this field of public speaking. So next time you have to speak anywhere, establish credibility in the start. Then always make sure you show the preview of the main ideas. Like I told you, yeah, 3 competencies is going to be analysis, it's going to be preparation and delivery. So these are the things you have to include in your introduction. Otherwise, if you get the first button wrong, ooh, we feel sorry for you. So then after preparing the body and introduction, you need to also see how will you close your speech or your talk. One thing you need to do is to signal the closing. Don't surprise people that then you leave the stage. You should bring people gradually. You can use a pause. You can summarize what you said. So as of now, we have seen this and this and that. Then you review the main point. Then you call for action. What do you want people to retain? Are you asking them to donate? Maybe you work for an organization that's serving a certain cause and you want people to donate. Do you want a job? Or are you looking for people to fund you or business? All this, you should just think what a call for action. What's the main idea? Because this brings back the general purpose. Then you should find a way to leave a lasting impression. I tend to coach my people that don't say thank you at the end of your speech. Thank you, it's a weak way to close. Find maybe an interesting quote, say it, and stop from there. Don't thank you. It ruins the show. It's so average. It's conventional. Find something impressive, like a statement, yeah, or something that will engage people. You can ask them a question at the end, like a question you want them to keep pondering. These are where you just build your speech. So for preparation, as you saw, you start with, as you saw in this burger model, you start with bringing everything together, ingredients, main points, support to serve your purpose, your goal. But you don't want to serve your burger in fragments. You have to organize it in many points, sub-points, then organize them in a logical way that people can follow you and transition in a better way. Then prepare the start, catch attention, and tell people what you're going to say. And then conclude with what you said. Actually, there is a speaker called Kennedy. He says something like, when you prepare for a speech, it's simple. You just tell people what you're going to tell them. That's introduction. Then you tell them Then you tell them what you just said. So that's the best way to approach a speech. You tell them what you're going to say in your introduction. Then you tell to them that very thing. Then you go back and tell them what you said. I hope this burger model helps you to remember how to prepare for a speech. Then after you have prepared for your speech, now you have all the content, we are coming to the tricky part. This is where most people really suffer. How now do you deliver the message you have to people that they remain interested? If you have been a student, maybe at a certain institution, you know, like some lecture could you start and you sleep, or you can't wait to go home. So this is what makes difference among most of the speakers. How do you deliver your message with power and appealingly? If you live in Rwanda, you might have heard of this Vuba Vuba. They deliver food. Like they have a company that they use motorbikes and you can order online, then they bring the food from a restaurant to your house. So imagine if a restaurant had a good food, but they don't have this the waiters to serve, to take the food to the clients, or there's no Vuba Vuba like this, who will deliver the food. So delivery is important for your speech. It's like you prepared your burger. Now it's time to deliver it to people. So actually, public speaking is not about what you say, but how you say it. You might have great points, but those points contribute only 30% to your communication, to help you achieve your communication goal. But people will just judge you and receive your message depending on how you deliver it. So I want to share with you 4 delivery tools you can use for any presentation. It's language, it's voice, your body language, and the visuals. Simple like that. We call them rhetoric tools. These are the things you can use when you are delivering and your message will have power. So if you know Trump has been being criticized for using a language that's full of racism and like against of immigrants, like Mexico, closing the border, you know, he's known for a sensitive language. For a speaker, the first thing that matters when you deliver is how you choose the language you use, the kind of words you use. First, your language should be appropriate for your audience. If there are people who are in your industry, you might need to use technical words, it's okay. But some other times, you need to break things down, avoid complicated words. It should be accurate. Man, you need to bolster your language. If you use English or Kinyarwanda or whatever language you use, you don't want to screw up saying a word which is not supposed to be. Should also be clear. Use the clear language. Short sentences, like, yeah, active verbs. Don't use long sentences, like try to organize to be clear. And another interesting thing that I actually use when I speak, it's figurative language. This is one of the most powerful of all. If you about language, you forget everything. You remember to use figurative language. This is where you create a picture in the mind of your audience. Instead of saying like, this project is difficult, which is like an abstract idea. Like this project is like climbing a mountain. You can make it even more dramatic, like it's like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. So this way, people kind of picture it in their minds like, ooh, this must be really, really, really tough. Figurative language. So we use the metaphors. You will hear people, speakers use images. Try to picture it. Like this game is like a roller coaster. Like they're trying to use words that create images. So for language as a speaker, you need to use what I call similes, comparison, like this is like this, or this, oh man, this is as big as an elephant. So this is where you're creating images in the minds of the listener. Your language is very, very important. Then after, another tool that you have is your voice. Probably this is one of the most important for speakers because your voice is your brand. So speaking is like, you know, when you're playing a music, people are listening to you, it's the same model, it's the same channel of verbal, of language, of voice. So when you speak to people, imagine if you're listening to a music which has the same tone or the volume is so low, you can't hear it. So as speaker, you need to adjust your volume based on your audience size and where you are. If you have to pitch, another thing is about the pitch. How high or how low? Some people raise the pitch to create emphasis. Sometimes you go low a little bit to just build connection. You need to always be adjusting your voice to just make you sound a little bit more musical. Because now people like, unknowingly, they know whether they're enjoying your voice or not. Vocal varieties, always go low, go high, mix. Yeah, also rate. Sometimes you might need to speak faster or slow. Like slow usually helps when you're trying to get people complicated information. But when you're motivating people, inspiring, sometimes you want to go faster. These are just adjustment. Your voice is critical. And then pauses. A pause can help you to transition from one point to another. And a pause can help you grab their attention when it's lost. And a pause can help your idea sink in. So this is another tool. This is just one of item in the toolbox of a speaker, your voice. You need to master it. There are exercises you can do and practice your voice. Then next is your body language. It's another tool. Like people will be interested in your speech or not, based on your language, your voice, then your body language next. About the body language, I'll put a picture of me when I was speaking. I think it was an event in Huye. What do you think people see first when they see you? Majority of people think it's the face, but when people see you, when you see people, the first thing we see is their hands. Why do we look at the hands? This is like something evolutional. We want to see if someone doesn't have anything harmful, something that can harm us, that can hurt us. So the first thing as a speaker, remember to show your hand. It shows you're open. When you block, you close your arms. When you hide, some people are uncomfortable. From this about body language, learn to show your hand as you speak. Again, your appearance matters. How you dress should be appropriate for the occasion, for the audience you have. If you're going for an official event and you have to speak there, probably you need to put on a suit or something like that. Or if it's a casual audience, young people might need to dress a little bit casual. Yeah. Another thing is the eye contact. Many people struggle with where they should look when they start speaking. The best approach that helps is always look at one person at a time and move from one person as you make a point. This helps you to keep people engaged. Like look at them, let them know they are. Well, this is not possible online, but in a physical delivery speeches where you meet people, eye contact. Then how you stand should communicate confidence. Yeah. And then how you move. Avoid unnecessary move, not move too much, but again, don't stand static. Always move with a purpose. I like to move when I'm making a new point or I want to emphasize something. So movement. Then the last tool in your toolbox as a speaker is visuals. Something you can show because it helps people to remember your information. So actually, research found that when you tell people they're listening to you, they can remember only 10%. When you show the information only, they can remember 35%. But when you tell them things and then you also show it, 65%. Yeah. By the way, before I move on, I saw some people sending messages. Yes, after this presentation, we look in the chats and we can answer some questions. If you have any question at any point, remember to drop it in the chat. Then we look at it before we sign out. So we actually about to the end. So on the visuals, some use slides, PowerPoints, which are the new way of showing slides. So what kind of slides should you show? I'm going to talk about it a little bit, like next two slides. Some people have objects, something you can give to people, like if you want to talk about the phone, you bring a phone and you show it. You sit like in Steve Jobs, when he was launching iPhones, could always bring the phone and show it. Yeah. So visuals help people remember. Some people write on the board, like you remember your high school primary teachers, they could write on the board. Sometimes you can show videos. These are things you can incorporate in your speech to make it more interesting. Imagine if I would have been talking to you just like this without these slides. It's been like almost 30 minutes now. how would you have felt? But because I have something to show you, some visuals, which are engaging, which are clean, and which are appropriate for my points, it's easy to keep engaging with you, to keep you engaged all along. So I want to talk about slides, just one thing. So like this guy was like, oh, for my presentation today, I'll be reading the point slide word by word. Many people prepare slides and they think everything they want to talk, everything they want to say, they put on slide. This is a very, very bad mistake. Very bad mistake. So I want to show you two mistakes that you should avoid when you prepare slides. You should avoid slides that people will not read. And you should avoid slides that people will not remember. What do I mean by it? So when you put a slide here and you're speaking to people, remember you are dividing their attention. Should we look at you or should we read your slides? So when you put a lot of things on your slides, people will move maybe to your slides and read and read and read. Or they will ignore them just to listen to what you have to say. So you should balance that. Remember, your slides should have few things that people can read. And there should be not too much information so people can remember. Let me show you one slide I copied and put in here. Like you go to speak somewhere. Oh, look, this slide was from my class a few years ago. I heard it was, I think, physiology class. I just went in the slides I had in the class and I picked one, which was a typical of a very bad slide. Everything was a capital, not reading friendly. No picture, it's parked. I mean, no one reads this. Maybe we'll choose to sit back and then listen to what you have to say. So you should avoid this. There are principles about slides. I'm not going to go into details today for the sake of time. Maybe we discuss this in the future workshops. But for now, know that your slides should be readable and memorable. You should avoid slides like this. I hope in the future, when you prepare a session about slides, you will join in to learn the principles of a good slide. I hope for now, you have gathered some ideas on 3 competences that a great speaker should have to be able to analyze where you have to speak, understand your purpose, your audience, and yourself, and the occasion you have so that you can prepare with sensitivity to all those factors. Also, preparation. Remember we showed the burger model? Yes, start with the core, organize it, and then add the bread on top, the intro, and some bread on just down to make the whole complete speech. And remember how you deliver. You don't just cook the burger and then you keep it at home. You need vuba, the delivery. You need how to use incorporate all these tools in your delivery. How you speak, the voice you use, the languages you choose, how you stand, your broad, how you dress, and anything you can show. So this is a journey, I believe. You might not be perfect at the start, but with the practice, you can get much better. As Les Brown said, that anything worth doing is worth doing badly until you get it right. Like you need to start practicing your public speaking whenever you get an opportunity, or you can have a public speaking community. Like you can keep practicing. And before we log out, as that note, if there is any one of you who is interested in speaking, who want to take their speaking to the next level, one, I'm sending you a guide, free guide after this session. Yeah, I'll send you some of this. Then probably tomorrow, I'll send you a free guide that you can use for improving. It'll be just a guide step by step from the start to the end. I'll break down every step you can use for your journey, how you can set the goals, what you can learn, and how you can learn. So look for it. Look for emails that you shared with me when you registered. We'll send you that free guide. But beside the guide, for the last few years, I've been coaching people. I have an 8 weeks one-on-one program coaching. So like if there's anyone who is really, really serious to boost their communication skills, their speaking skills, I work with them in 8 weeks from the scratch, from the beginner to the professional. So this involves assessing your needs. Yep. And this package includes speaking tailored to your career. If you're a doctor or you're a business person, we use the approach that helps you to be able to speak in your field. So it costs around $219, like 220. So close to 300 francs, 297. It's 8 weeks. It's intensive. It's a one-on-one. We have to meet in person. There's work to do. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. I will send the contact also in the email. So you also can check on internet about this. Yeah, but have a good news. This might look so expensive for most of you. They say, oh, man, I don't get 300,000 for this. Maybe you're a student or you are just out of your career, you don't have enough money. So I worked with the Genius Africa, and we created a program which is more affordable, but you get the same experience, the same learning, and we do this in a group, so to get a community group. So with this one, it's also eight weeks program where you get guidance every week. There's a content for every week. Also, we meet for a live session where you get feedback from me as the coach, then also the colleague of yours. Also, it's certified after the program. After 8 weeks, you get the certificate, and you get also the discount for our program in a coaches masterclass. If you want to be a public speaking coach or communication coach, to join in the Genius Africa network, you get a discount. So this program is starting in November to December. It's going to be 8 weeks. But look out to this, because we need only 15 people who are serious about this, who want to join this first cohort where they can get, this is going to be more practical because there'll be a lot of exercise for you and you have to work with me closely every week. So if you're interested to join this, don't look out for this. I will send the link. I will share the link in the chat shortly. And this is very, very affordable. It's $3.2. So if like individual, it's around $300. This one's $3 for you. It's almost 10% of it. So and you get 45,000 francs. Yeah. So I will send the link. We are going to take the first people who are going to register for this program, and we're starting the first week of November. That's next week, but one. So it's first come, first served. So when we send the link, rush and register. Then we look up for who came first. Then we give you feedback before you make the payment, because you don't pay until you confirm that there is slots. Because there are many people interested in this and they are registering quickly. So we want to be sure that you register, then we get back to you telling you that there is a slot on this day so that you can make your payment. So I'll send you the registration link after this, so that you guys can join. So it's first come, first served. The miss out, it's just 45,000 francs. You get all the package, you get all the guidance, you get access to the community, and you get the certificate. So it's only 15 people this time. So look out for this. So this is for now. I hope you don't miss this opportunity to level up your communication skills, because you might be a smart person, but if you can't communicate better, you don't get that much far. All great leaders that I know, all people succeed, they know how to communicate their ideas with power. So this program can be a good way to end there, like by investing in your career. Yep. So otherwise, you can get more free content on my YouTube channel. I share some information about communication and career development. Yep, you can just check it out after this call, and yeah, and on my website, you can visit my website, jeric.net. You can find a lot of content, blogs, also all these programs on the website that you can all register and contact me, or if you need any help. So that's it for now. We need to stop sharing, then can look in the chart and maybe answer some questions. Right, all right. All right, so very good. Let me see, Francois. So Francois, thank you, Eric, for this incredible presentation. I want to ask what duration a good and focused presentation must last? My second concern, how do you manage the audience when you're not used to public talks? Oh, good question, Francoise. One, how long should a presentation be? The length of presentation depends on the occasion. But here's my recommendation. Whenever you speak, try to limit your main point to only 3. Because when things become 5 and 6 and 10, people don't remember. Just keep your points to 3 to 5 maximum. Don't just keep people too much detail. Otherwise, if you think like you want to add a lot of things, combine many points in one and make sub points. But about the length, this depends. It depends on the question. Like most of TED Talks, they don't exceed 18 minutes. So TED speakers, like they believe that in 18 minutes is enough for you to say whatever you have to say. With 18 minutes, you can say anything you want to say. You can't. So you see the range. So for this, I can't really be specific about the range, but 3 points, and think about the TED if you want to be. Because when I had to speak at TED event, one of my challenges was, how do I say everything I want to say in just 18 minutes? I'll be facing some challenge as well. Also about, we call it stage flight or anxiety. Speaking in public is tricky because actually it's like when they did the research about fear, more people fear, public speaking was the first fear of people, speaking in public. So stage flight, one, for you to build the confidence, you need the competencies. You need to really be like, you know what you're doing. Like when I have to speak wherever, because I know that I've been doing that, I know how to approach the occasion. I know how to analyze the situation, and they know how to prepare and how to deliver. These competencies give me confidence. Like I don't fear any audience, honestly. But more so, you need experience. You know, you can't be a good speaker by just reading notes. You need to speak. That's why actually that program will be much more practical. We get you to speak. You ask me, oh, it's going to be online. Sometimes it's going to be physical, but when it's online, we ask you to record videos so you can see you speaking. So we get you uncomfortable. The program will be make you uncomfortable, but experience. Confidence comes from competence and experience. How much does this 8-week coaching cost? So if you want an individualized one, as you saw, it's $219. That's $297, close to 300,000, because it's individualized, and yeah, we take it. You see a lot of details, and the package is different because it's tailored. There are other things we consider, like to help you build a brand. When I'm giving you a one-on-one coaching, I help you to build your own brand as a speaker. I take you to occasionally have to speak. I arrange occasions for you. I attend your events sometimes to give you feedback. So it's so intensive for me, but also for the listen. But it's a good one. But for this one, which is shared group coaching of 15 people, it's 45,000 francs, $32 for 8 weeks. So you can get access to all the content and certificate. I don't know. Let me see if there's anything else left. Someone said I should repeat the burger model. All right. The burger model, it's the burger, like if you know the burger, it has the bread on top, the middle part, which are bread and meat and all that, and the end part. So the burger model is a model to prepare for a speech. When you prepare burger, you don't start with the bread. You start with the middle part. So preparing for a speech, you start with the body. You don't think about introduction and conclusion before you prepare for the body. You know your purpose, you know what you want to communicate. You have the stories you want to tell, many points you want to cover, prepare them first. That's the middle part of the book. And so you can organize them logically. And then introduction. How can I get attention of people? How do I get them interested in my topic? Then you add the last part, which is conclusion. So this is the Burger model on speech preparation. This is the simplest way you will ever find in learning how to prepare speech. It has a very way to understand where to begin, what to do next, what to include. So in my program, coaching program, I go into details. Because today I didn't have so much time, I gave you an overview. But in this program, go into details, actually. How should you organize your ideas, depending on the purpose? If you have to convince people to donate or do something, or if you have to inform people or entertain, how do you organize your ideas and what kind of stories you should include, especially on persuasion? How should you appeal to emotions? So that's basically the Burger model. 297K is paid once or can be made in installments. So this is negotiable, but there is a down payment because you can pay installment, but there's down payment how to make first for both of us to commit. So this is negotiable, you can negotiate. So you can reach out to me. I will leave my contacts and an email so that you can text me or email me about this. And this should be quick because I don't coach so many people per month. I never exceed 5 people. So for now, I have 2 people. So I have only 3 slots remaining for personalized coaching. So if you really need it, you need to hurry up because now the application is out, people interested, they're reaching out to me. So you need to make sure you book your slots quickly. All right. Thank you for this session. You're a great contribution to our national global community. Thank you so much for nice feedback. So what does it take for one-on-one coaching? Yep, as I mentioned, the cost 297. This is 8 weeks. It's not just one, and it's intensive. So, and we have to have a call and analyze your needs. And all right, and so glad to attend this. Thank you so much. So, Chair Stephen, thank you for this presentation. Thank you, welcome, brother. Issa, it was insightful. Can't wait for more like this. Hopefully, yeah, there will come more. We have a lot in store. So, because Genius Africa, with which I work, because they are taking coaches and they link them with the audience. So they organize master classes like the one we're gonna have and workshops like this, some physical and online. So I hope sometime we're gonna organize other sessions about different other interesting topics to make you a better communicator. Like especially like we spoke about how to prepare PowerPoint. I think that's gonna be a cool workshop to do. We keep you posted. So we're immensely grateful for this presentation. We eagerly anticipate collaborating with you in the future presentation. Thank you so much. So I think that's what was in the chats. Thank you everybody for sending in this. Someone asked what's the time of the course. The time of the course is going to be determined by the students because after 15 people are full, I know they're going to choose different days. We're going to build the community so you can agree on the day where you're going to have the course. I'm flexible on every day, but the course day of the week will be determined depending on the students. So rush quickly. I think for now, let me just drop in. I think I should share with you this link in the chat. So though I will also send it in. I will send it in by email after this call. But some of you might need to maybe hurry up. So I will send the link to the registration. I put here in the chat so that, yeah, because when you get 15 people, we probably close. So in the chat, I just copied the link. It's on my website, actually. Yeah, the registration form where you can go and register. Then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So I see user, you raised your hand. Do you want to say something? Anyone who wants to speak before we sign out? We are already 5 minutes later.
Okay, it's me.
Mhm.
Are you listening to me?
Sure, yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
hear.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eric. My name is Honore Tuishim. I'm a dental therapy student at University of Rwanda. One of the problems that we have as public speakers is the fear in front of the audience. What can you tell us as the strategies of eradicating this fear, just fighting against fear? Thank you.
All right. Yeah, actually, as I mentioned, like public speaking fear is the greatest fear in the world. When you look at what people fear the most, public speaking is number one, followed by heights. So that means if you have fear of public speaking, you're not alone. But there are things you can do to eradicate that fear. Number one, it starts with your mindset about public speaking. Like I'll be teaching you like how do you change your mind or how to change the way you see public speaking. Like I tend to think like, okay, I've prepared my speech. And the audience, there are people like me. These are the things I tell myself when I go to speak at some events are high level. And this I tell myself, oh, now they invited me to speak there because they trust me. This just self-conversation, it builds your mind, like you start believing in yourself. But again, honestly, you can't beat your fear if you don't have techniques of how managing the audience, analyze the audience, preparing like when you don't have the skills and the competencies, you suffer. So you need to want to change your mindset about it, but again, build your skills. And lastly, this is irreplaceable, bro. Practice. You can't get better at things for the first time. It takes time as you practice more, you do it more. Like every speech prepares you for the next one. Wherever you have to present once, prepare you for the next presentation. This is irrepressible. Practice, you can't beat it down. So those three things: your mindset, your competencies, and your practice to gain experience. They help you to. The other techniques we discuss in the courses on mindset, how to build the mindset. But yeah, that's it. All right, all right. I think that's it for now. Hopefully, we'll be able to share the recording of the presentation. Maybe you might see it on YouTube for you to review. But again, after this, I will send you the summary of it. There's a short guide. Then tomorrow, we send you the free complete guide. Yeah. So by the meantime, rush and register. I shared the link, and I will send it again in the email. So that's for now. Thank you guys for joining. It was good to have you all. Yeah, hope to see you in the future.